Hey, what's up, Dum'e? This is a quick demo video for you for your custom Havoc. So you sent this to me. It had a pretty old install in it. Matter of fact, I've got the remnants of it right here. So you had this guy in it. Didn't have a speaker attached, but you did have the board attached right here. It was in here upside down, which is no biggie. I took it out. I tried to reuse it. It wasn't good. So I did swap out your board. I swapped out your pixel connector. And what else did I do? I kept your original switch, and that's probably about it. All right, so we kept your original switch right here, the big one for power. Over here, I opened up this hole just a little bit so that I could put this dome tactile switch in here so that you could have a 2-button setup. I'm not sure what you had in there before because it wasn't included, but this was an open hole, so it was good for an auxiliary switch. All right, you can press it just like that. This this grub screw right here, this is a chassis retention screw, so you do not want to mess with that. That's what holds the chassis in place. All right. We kept your blade retention, and then I upgraded you to a Shadow Foil Props lit PCB right in there, and I'll light that up here for you in a second. You had a Carl Chen, I think it was like a V2 lit connector, so I went ahead and took that out. All right, I don't really feel comfortable using those anyways when they've been used, and they come back, and Sabers come in for jobs like this. But you can take your handle off like this. We'll take the entire thing off. This is the front part of your chassis. So now you have a removable battery set up. The spring side over here is going to be for the negative side of your battery. All right. Coming over here, you have the new Proffie board that I put in there. This is a snap fit down into the shelf. So you can get to your SD card and your micro USB from right here, though. You don't need to lift it up to make any changes. All right. I left it to where you can lift it up if you like, but you don't need to. If you do end up doing that, though, put a little bit of E6000 on each side when you put it back down so it stays in place. It is pretty tight right now, but just in case. Your Proffie board, the original one, the red one, had a bunch of sound fonts on it, but no config file. So what I did was I grabbed 5 of those fonts. I made a new config file. I put those 5 on here. A copy of the config file that I used is on the SD card, and I went ahead and I left all of your original fonts on the SD card. So if you want to make those changes or go in and add those, you certainly can, but I only added 5. All right. You still have a 7-pixel accent strip right here, which is what you had over here before. This is a 7-pixel strip as well, but we just didn't put any heat shrink over it. Just adapted it into the main chassis. If you look over here, you have a kill switch for your board. All right, so it's in the off position right now. If we were to come over here, let's throw a battery in. All right, you want to use a keep power, a protected cell, 18650 keep power. All right, so when we put that in there, we're not going to hear any sound, but if we come over here and flip this switch, you're going to see this go. And that's what that does for each font. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll turn it back off. Let's talk about why you don't hear sound. All right, we had to get past this guy right here, and the piece here in the middle has a smaller diameter than the rest of the handle. So what I did was I came back here on the back of the handle, and I made a speaker pod. This thing is about 5 inches long. It's the longest speaker pod I've ever made, but on one side it has a 22mm Smuggler's Outpost Nano Elite speaker. And then, of course, you've got that stock connector right there. And it just says Solo Sabers over there in Arabesh for me right around the connector. All right. That doesn't come out. If you wanted to take it out, you could, but there's really no need to. See if I can pop it out. It is just a tube with the speaker in the back. It goes in here, and it's meant to just stay in there. All right. So we'll put this back onto the handle. Screw this all the way down. So when you take this off from now on, you could take this off as one piece. You sent me this pummel with the handle, and you said to get the pummel on before you use a piece of duct tape. So what I did was, because this pummel doesn't go with the handle, instead of doing that, I did use some JB Weld and I JB welded this guy a few days ago, and it's on there solid. It's not going anywhere. All right, so we'll come over here. We'll flip this on. You'll see your accents going. Come over here and just screw the handle all the way down. When you screw it down tight. That makes sure the chassis locks into the speaker pod. I do have these LEDs on a timer, so if you don't turn this on right away, it won't kill your battery. But when we come over here and hit power, so now you've got sound. You've got that animation here in the middle, all the way around. Get your LEDs fired up here on your lit connector, right? And you've got twist off. On that speaker pod, I fully enclosed the speaker, so all the sound is shooting straight out of your pommel. All right, let's go ahead and put a blade in this guy. This is set up for a 1-inch diameter blade. So we'll put our blade in, lock it down with a blade retention. You did have all of the blade styles for your particular fonts on the SD card, so everything, all 5 of these that I chose, they had blade styles that go with them. I used them, all right. Auxiliary is that little tactile. If you want blade lock up, hold it down and hit the saber. I'm getting that blade lock up right now. This is set up for a full-length blade, by the way. I'm just using my test blade to demo it. But to go to the next font, we'll hit auxiliary, power. Now I see this one has a green blade, so I made this one over here green, so it matches. Your first blade style is kind of hard to see because I have a short blade, but it's more of an ice blue in the beginning and it fades to a blue, and that's why I have the accent over here blue. All right, let's go to another one.
Hello, Zuko here.
This is the fire blade. So since you had a fire blade style for this, I just went ahead and I used that for this over here too. So same blade style for both. I'll turn that off and go to another one.
Crispity.
Whoops, let's go back to. If you want to go back in your fonts, point the saber down, hit the auxiliary, you'll go back in your sound font menu. All right.
Crispity.
So this starts off as a purple. It goes to a red if you had a full-size blade. I went with red here on your accent in your handle. All right, and we'll go ahead and take the blade out. So we'll just take it out like this, pop it out. When you're done, you can come over here and hit that kill switch. When you flip the kill switch, of course, you can leave the battery in it, and you don't have to worry about the battery dying. So again, we'll turn this on even though you won't hear it. But you can see your blades going. You can see your LEDs over here going until we come over here and we flip the switch. And it kills power just like it should, all right? And then when you're done, you can pop the battery out with your finger if you ever want to take it out and charge it. But that is basically your custom Havoc redone. Let me know if you have any questions, and I won't get this out in the mail on Monday because the post office is closed for Martin Luther King Day, but I will send this out first thing Tuesday. All right, thanks, man.